I'm going to show you how I make my money around town with my Sprinter slash cargo van on this segment of the Gig Geezer. If this is your first time checking out the Gig Geezer, if you're a returning visitor of the Gig Geezer, hey, thanks for coming by. And if you would not mind, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. Now, I have already completed my first half grind slash hustle today, Monday, February 20, 2023. I understand it is a federal holiday, and so the government agencies are not open, the banks are not open, and so I will tell you, at least not trying to be a spoiler, things were not as popping as perhaps they should be on a Monday. I'm still going to take you along with me how I went about doing my first half grind today. So if you like the content that's been provided in this segment of the Gig Geezer or in any other segment of the Gig Geezer, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome comments in the section below. And I'm going to transition right into this morning. Alrighty, I am starting out this particular segment of the Gig Geezer from the gas station, in which I just put in $65 to fill up my tank. That should, if I'm driving around locally, last me 2, maybe 3 days. I'm actually starting out early today because I wanted to go by Harbor Freight before I do the first of 2 scheduled catering opportunities. One of them is on the DeliverThat app, and the other is on the Dlivrd app. Those 2 opportunities are, it appears that they're going to pay me a total of $60. Somewhere's in there, $60 to $62. Nothing to be jumping up and down about, but as I've often said, when it comes to working the gig catering apps of Dlivrd and DeliverThat, the opportunities provide a decent bump to your gig grind, your gig hustle for the day. Now, I'm also heading to Walmart, in which I figured, well, while I'm out, since I'm going to go to Harbor Freight, why don't I see if there's something out there that I can get and make some money while going to Harbor Freight before I really start my day. And I happen to catch a point pickup that's going to pay $14 and change, and it's going all of about 7 minutes driving time to some apartments at a nearby mall area. The miles, according to the app, is like 2 miles, and so you can do the math. It's a pretty decent, quick earnings opportunity. So as it appears now, I'm already going to have $75 in my column, in my plus column, and I've already offset paying $65 for gas if these 2 catering opportunities go through, which they should. The first one is at 10:40, and so I'm already within the 2-hour corridor, so I will be paid for that one on the DeliverThat app. The second one is at 12:15, and it's going to a building that's downtown, and in fact, it's a building where I'm contracted with a couple of insurance companies. And by the way, I am an insurance agent, and I have an office, an agency. Yeah, so actually, the building I'm going to is literally it's actually within reasonable walking distance of my office, but driving time downtown probably about 3 minutes away. When we resume, I will be talking from the drop-off location of this point pickup order if it goes through, and we'll continue the conversation for today. All right, so I just called an audible here. I am waiting for this point pickup opportunity, and a question that kind of came to my mind, what folk have asked from time to time: what type of cargo van should they get? And I understand that folk are asking for specific models. My choice of a Ford Transit 250 was based on the fact that I wanted something that kind of mirrored the cargo vans that I'd seen with Federal Express and Amazon. And as I did my research, I noticed that a number of the vans are either the Mercedes brand Sprinter vans, or the Dodge brand Sprinter vans, and then there were the Ford brand Sprinter vans. I've shared in the earlier segment of the Gig Geezer that my choice on a Ford Transit was based largely upon the fact that I am a Ford man. I mean, for whatever it's worth, I have owned Fords from a Ford Escort on up to a F-150 four-door Super Crew. I've had Mustang, I've had Tauruses, I've had a Ranger. So I'm a Ford person. All right, so as I mentioned, I had to stop, and I had to stop there because it was a very short wait. As you can see, to my right is a 75-inch TV that's going to an apartment complex, and I'm hoping that this is a first floor deal. I don't think so. And that's the fucked up thing about when you're dealing with apartments, you just don't know where you're going. And with it being a 75, there are not straps on the box. And so I think what's going to help me is the fact that me having long arms, that helps me. And then just having dealt with 75s enough, you kind of know how to carry them if you have to. But anyway, what I was mentioning about the Ford Transit 250 engine, with it being a DureTech engine, I've had full Ford Tauruses, and I've had good experiences with each Taurus that I've owned, and I kind of know what to do in terms of what to look for with the engine in terms of I guess maintenance. And so that's one reason why I chose the 250. Another reason why I chose the van that I chose. Now, what I'm getting at is people ask which one or what type. There's also the 4-cylinder vans, and what got me thinking about a cargo van was my meeting a young guy whom I've shared on a number of occasions now. He has a 4-cylinder Dodge cargo van, the smaller one, and he says he's able to get things done with his, and obviously he's been able to do it because when I met him, he was making $8,000 a month. Well, the first answer would be, how do you want to get as much? Do you want to have a cargo van just to have a cargo van? Well, if you just want a cargo van to have a cargo van, get the smaller one, because you're going to have, you're not going to deal with as much gas consumption because it's a 4-cylinder engine. But you may limit yourself on the capacity of things that you may be able to, what type of cargo you may be able to carry. Size equals money in some respects. Size equal money. In fact, even with me, with this particular van, which is a 148-inch wheelbase, and it is considered a Sprinter class van, I'm limited to what I can do because I can have two 48-inch pallets in this cargo area, but there are places where they want people to have the extended wheelbase, which is a 170-inch wheelbase, in which you can put 3 pallets on there, and you have a bigger payload as well. So in some instances, size equals money. But another decision that's always going to play into your choice of a cargo van or a Sprinter van is what you can afford. I knew, just based on knowing some measures or some matters of finance, that I knew that I wanted to budget no more than $600 a month. My payment is $596, but I pay $600 a month because I always pay a little over on my things. And so the trick was to find a van in which I can get to those numbers. This van happened to cost $35,000 and change, but I happened to search high and low and found this one in Georgia at a dealership in Cummings, Georgia. And so based on my financing, which is also, now, while this van was purchased in my business name is first on the note, but my name is second as a guarantor of the loan. And so when you're establishing business credit, as I shared as well, your good name is going to be on that note starting out. As you build business credit, then your business name becomes solely the name on that note. And there's now, I've heard people say you need to get you a DUNS number, which is a Dun and Bradstreet number. I went ahead and got that. But I also know when you open at least through my bank, Bank of America, when you open a certain credit accounts, like a business loan account, you have access to your DUNS credit score, your business credit score. Mine is considered average, almost good. The last time I checked, it was at 878. 880 is considered good. 900 is considered excellent. And so, and just starting out, I'm in a pretty good position to improve my business credit position. So again, the trick was to find also a van that the bank would finance, and a lot of the vans that you see out there have a lot of miles on them, and they may be relatively new, like within 5 years old, but they've got 150 to 200,000 miles. So those often end up becoming cash purchases, and there's nothing wrong with a cash purchase. But however way you go about doing it, it's going to be based on what you feel is best for you. So we're going to go on with the with this delivery and get on with the day. All right, we are done with that order, and here's the lowdown on what happened. Now, as I mentioned, it was to apartment complex, full floor complex, fourth floor building, and it's the only one in this complex that has the fourth floor, but it's the only one that has an elevator, which is a lifesaver when you're dealing with a 75 and you don't have the right dolly to be transporting that. If this was any of the other buildings, third floor, then you're fucked, because then you have to carry that thing. Well, you can use a dolly, but it's all the bumping and jostling of it that may affect that TV in the long haul. But then again, I may not be experienced enough or knowledgeable enough to know that there may be something to offset that. Typically, you need two people. That's the easiest way. But here was what happened. Come to find out, I did not need to get in contact with the customer for access code into the building. I went by the rental office, and the guy told me that the door just happens to be opened today. So I was able to put the 75 on my 36 by 24 cart and haul it over to the building. And just as I got in, the young lady who purchased the television had come out of the elevators. Like, I was coming down to help you just in case. I didn't know what was going on, and so she provided help once we got out of the elevator and just carted it. Just kind of tugged the cart, and I held the TV upright on the cart until we got to her apartment, which ironically was the first door once you got out the elevator. So it all worked out. Now you ask, was hauling a fucking 75-inch TV to an apartment complex worth $14.64? No, it wasn't. But the thing is, with point pickup, you don't know what you're going to be hauling until they come out with it. That's one of the unknowns that you have to deal with a lot of these delivery apps. And so it's easy to say that, well, you got to be prepared. You got to have a bunch of, you have to have the right dolly with you at all times. And yes, what I probably am going to have to do is invest in a 4-in-1 cart, a 4-in-1 hand truck / dolly, and that will be even more versatile than the one that I have. The cart that I have is really for catering orders, in most catering order situations. So that's the end of that particular experience. And so the next time I get back with you, it's going to be from the catering pickups. Alrighty, I am outside the pickup location for this first catering order, and that is on the DeliverThat app. The DeliverThat is based out of Ohio, and if you're not onboarded with that app and you're interested, This is the phone number to DeliverThat. They're based out of Ohio. And in the comment section and in the description section below, I have a link that you can click to initiate the onboarding process. This order amount is $360, and orders of that size and smaller tend to be more proportionate with what DeliverThat typically pays on its orders. That amount is typically in the $30 to $39 range, regardless of order size. I have been told by DeliverThat folk, they acknowledge that other ways by which people may see more money is going to be based on distance, in which orders of where the driving distance is 10 miles or more, you are paid based on that fraction thereof. So if the order is 15 miles away, you would be paid $5. It'd be $1 for each mile over 10 miles. Now, the other thing is that the tip pool. A lot of folk are not so cool about the tip pool. That is a part of DeliverThat's pay structure, but it has its place with respect to when you're dealing with customers who do not tip at all or tip very poorly. And then again, on orders of this size and smaller, that's where it really kind of kicks in. Imagine getting a $100 catering order and you make $35. Now the comparison would be if you had a DoorDash large order program opportunity. Now with the large order program with DoorDash, order sizes of $100 or more are the ones where you have to take a picture of your catering bag. There is the potential that if you have a large order catering opportunity, you may make only $8 on that order. And there's no guarantee that you're going to make $30 to $35 on a large order program opportunity. As I've shared on the DoorDash program, an average size order is going to be anywhere between $30 and $34. A better paying order is going to be between $35 and $49. And if you have one that pays $50 and more, that's a really good order. And then orders of $20 and below, those are rather disappointing. Now, my next pickup is, after dropping that off, is about an hour later, and that is on the Dlivrd app. And the Dlivrd number is this number here. They're based out of Pennsylvania. And I'll also provide a link to Dlivrd in terms of if you're looking to be onboarded with that app, in both the description section and in the comment section below. That order size is $233, and it is projected to pay $30. So in about 2 hours of actual work time, I will have made $76.45. So now, as a part of my strategy, when I go out and work my first and second half hustles, my strategy then is to make at least $100 while I'm out. So now the pressure is off. I can turn on other apps and look for the DoorDash order, look for the Uber Eats order, look for the Grubhub order, look for the Instacart order, or another Roadie, or another Point Pickup, or any other app in which I have on. Some folk have asked me, what are all the apps that I use in terms of that creates this revenue stream? I have multiple apps. I've just named 6 or 7, and I've got probably another 6 or 7 more in which the opportunities are rather sporadic in the Columbia, South Carolina metropolitan area. And by the way, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment of the Gig Geezer and any other segment of the Gig Geezer, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. Now, one other thing that I've done is, at least today, I invested $76 into getting some ratchet straps, a couple of ratchet straps that are of the stronger strength, the ones that have the 10,000 pound breaking strength. That means now that if something is jostled, it's not going to move. I also bought some large moving blankets, which is needed for a couple of the apps, but it's also good to have anyway. And then I bought some bungee cords, and I got some batteries for my flashlight that I keep with me. All of that is trying to position myself for things that I am trying to do down the road. Now, the last thing, at least based on equipment and just getting myself ready for larger load opportunities, is to get the E-Track system. I've looked into that. I've kind of figured out how I'm going to set up my E-track system. I need to get some plywood and then get the E-tracks and then get the ratchet straps that fit into the E-track system. And also there's another bracket, for lack of a better word, there's a bracket in which that you use, that you place a 2x4 or a 4x4 in place in front and in back of whatever your cargo is that's going to be loaded onto the E-track system. That keeps it in place. And so that's I'm probably looking at another investment, because I don't know what the price of wood is, but I know that the E-track system I'm looking at is about $200, and then wood probably another couple $100. So let's just say $500, another $500 investment into all this, and then I'm pretty much almost ready to go. So that's where I'm at right now. I need to ring the doorbell. I need to ring the bell and let these people know that I'm here for this order, and I'll get back with you with the second catering pickup opportunity. One thing when I'm out here in my vehicles and I'm I guess you say working, I'm always in motion. I'm rarely sitting in one place waiting for orders to show up on my screen. It's my belief that you have to stay in motion in order to basically put yourself in the right place at the right time. Now, I was actually migrating over to the pickup location for my second scheduled catering order, but what I was hoping was to catch something in between to keep me busy, but also to add to the dollar column. And what happened is that as I was migrating, I caught a 19 item $6.50 offer from Groucho. Now, yes, I am known for saying that my order selection preferences for single orders are $8 or higher. But you also got to know when you're looking at a large order program opportunity. And this is one of them. Now, I have had some offers to show up that were less than $8, but were because of the actual restaurant and the number of items, I knew that this order had to be a large order program opportunity. This is one where I have to take a picture of my catering bag or catering bags in my case, and this is going to a location that I have delivered to on multiple occasions. Now, I don't know if this is the person who tips well. There's one person in this office that tips well, and there's another person in this office that tips marginally. I forget the names, and usually I'm good with names along with numbers. But I know that I've dropped off to this person before. Now, the offer being $6.50, it could be that she did tip well and this offer pays well into the $20 and $30 range. And if it does, then I'm done for the first half, because when I go back and pick up the other order that's paying $30, I'm over $100, and that will have been accomplished in less than 3.5 hours if my counting is correct. So you're coming along with me over to Groucho to pick up this order, and then we're going to drop it off in this 5-story building because it's going to go to the 5th floor, and then we're going to truck it back over to the pickup location for the catering order, and like I said, we'll be done for the first half. And also I'll wrap up this particular segment of the Gig Geezer. All right, so we've got the Groucho order, and now we get to drive about 6-7 minutes if the lights cooperate. And of course, I'm down here in downtown area. In fact, I'm in what's called the 5 Points area of downtown Columbia, South Carolina. The 5 Points area is famously known as the training grounds or proving grounds by which the music group and the singer Darius Rucker and his colleagues from Hootie and the Blowfish, this is where they got their beginnings, in this very area. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, there's some type of a tribute to those guys along this. That said, so as you can tell, I've got my cup holder. There are a couple of drinks involved. I got my bags. Now, I remember showing a screenshot of an order where I had like 12 drinks in cup holders, and some asshole made the nitpicking comment that there's supposed to be a clean area that you're supposed to keep your stuff with. Well, actually, the cargo area is clean. So what I do is I will put my cup holders or brace them against a 6,000 pound hydraulic jack that I use for my tires when I have to get up under the hood. And then there's a 25 pound weight that I may use to kind of brace the cup holders up against, or a couple of 2x4s that are nailed together. So it's kind of a makeshift way of making sure that there's no shifting of the drinks, because they will topple over. Even though you have a cup holder, it is possible for them to topple over in the back. So that is the explanation there. And I don't even know why I'm explaining it though, but there are the inquiring minds when you are a content creator. The drama now is, or the intrigue now is finding out whether this order is going to pay in the $20 to $30 range, which is what I'm hoping for. I figured that this order is going to pay at least $8. That is usually how the worst case scenario of a large order program opportunity occur. But with a dollar amount like this, you just don't know. It could pay $10, it could pay $12.50, it could pay in the teens. And remember what I mentioned about the dollar amounts. Anything under 20 is disappointing or a bad order. 20 to 34 is average, at least from my experience. 35 to 49 is above average, and anything over 50 is very good. So when I get back, we're gonna see how much this order pays, and then we're going to jet back over to the to the other catering pickup location, and that should end my first half grind and hustle. All right, so I have picked up this last catering order. Now, I didn't show any pictures because of the time crunch in terms of getting it out. And the reason why I say that is I have in a recent Gig Geezer segment mentioned about Dlivrd. They will start contacting you when things aren't going according to schedule, at least as they anticipate. Worst case is when Dlivrd people call, but typically it's folk who are representing Easy Cater that's going to call, wondering what's going on. So like I got a question like, well, how far are you away from the location? I told them I'm less than 5 minutes away. Okay, fine. Then when I'm at the restaurant, I noticed that there's only one catering order out on the tables, and so I know that it's more than likely for mine. But before I left, because of the store, and I've dealt with that manager numerous occasions now, I wanted to at least have him to acknowledge with me that everything is fine and I can leave with the order, and also just out of courtesy to let him know that, hey, nobody's here trying to steal the food or anything like that. Well, as I'm waiting for the manager, I get another call from DeliverThat or Easy Cater support, and I had to tell him, look, hold on, let me speak with the manager, and then explain to them that I just got the thumbs up from the manager that I can leave with the items because he knows that I'm here for the catering order. Okay, well, last question is, how about an ETA? I said 15 minutes. So that's kind of the non-glamorous part of doing these orders sometimes when support gets into it, because they're tracking things according to GPS and according to their data, how an order should be at a certain time, should be at a certain place at a certain time. But it doesn't always work that way. And so when you're in a situation whereby, let's say that you're really held up by an order, you need to contact them and let them know, hey, look, I don't have an estimated departure time yet because they still have not come out with the items. Usually that suffices. And what you have to do in those situations is text message them. As I mentioned, like for example, DeliverThat, that's their number here. That's an Ohio number, and then Dlivrd's number is here, and that's a Pennsylvania number. So the other thing that what you would need to do is in those situations, it's kind of a double pronged thing, as I've shared previously. What you want to do is complete the order through the app, but also text them the pictures of the order or the setup of the order, how it was handed off, what have you. Usually you take a picture of the bag with the items in the bag, and then just make the notation the order was handed off to the customer, or you show pictures of the order having been set up at that location. Now, I am finished with my first half grind / hustle, and I am about 20 minutes removed from having completed that second catering order. Now, there are a couple of things that actually occurred with that catering order that may be of note for this particular segment of the Gig Geezer. First of all, I mentioned, at least as I was driving to the drop-off location, how the apps will get in contact with you from time to time while you're out there when things are not going, at least according to their anticipated time frame schedules. And in this particular case today, I was running a little late. I mean, I got there within 10 minutes of the scheduled arrival time. So that's no reason for Dlivrd to be jumping down my back or breathing down my neck on this particular order. But that said, I still got a call from Easy Cater Support. Sometimes Dlivrd may get into it, but Easy Cater Support had asked me, well, what's your ETA with the restaurant? In fact, they didn't even get the question out. I told them I am less than 5 minutes away to the pickup location, and I got there within 5 minutes. Now, as you see here on the inset, this is the order that I picked up, and this was going to a dermatology practice. Now, when I dropped off the order, and as I was actually leaving, having set up this order, as you see here on the inset, the actual contact person came out, kind of waving me down. We seem to be missing some chicken. Are you sure that you don't have anything else in your van? And I told her I'm like the messenger in these situations. I brought here what they gave me, and I set up what was given to me. And I told her customarily, that's what my role is in the process. I pick up the food, I bring it there, and that's it. So I suggested to her that she would need to contact the restaurant. I gave her the location of the restaurant to contact, and also advised her to contact Easy Cater. And that's all you can do in a situation like that. Now, this is the first time something like this has happened for me on the Dlivrd app, in which not all the items were prepared for the order or available for delivery, or not brought out, or whatever the case was. Not all the items were delivered to the customer, and it had nothing to do with me where I missed something. Had that been DoorDash, I wouldn't be surprised. In fact, DoorDash is the only app in which those issues really kind of arise for whatever reason. But I've not had that happen on the DeliverThat app as well. And by the way, if you're interested in being onboarded on either app, I have provided a link in the description section and in the comment section for both Dlivrd and DeliverThat. Now, I made $103.75 if memory serves me correct. The money that was I made that on, as you saw in this particular segment of the Gig Geezer, a point pickup opportunity for $14.64. Then I had a DeliverThat pickup opportunity or catering opportunity that paid, in my estimation, $31.61. Then I had a Dlivrd catering opportunity which paid $30. And in between the DeliverThat and the Dlivrd opportunity, I had a DoorDash large order program opportunity that paid, as it turned out, $27.65. It came in just where I thought it would come in based on the offer amount and actual items that was in that order. So it is highly conceivable to make $100 in a little over 3 hours, at least in my market, the Columbia, South Carolina metropolitan area, when you have the right apps to work with. I'm a big advocate of working multiple apps. I've never been one to work single apps, and understanding this market with the hypersaturation and the thirst factor and all, I believe that working multiple apps is the way to go in this market. In other markets, it may be different. Now, the thing is with a cargo van, yes, you're using different equipment. Instead of your personal vehicle, which may be a car or an SUV or a pickup truck or a small truck, you're using what's typically a commercial vehicle. The whole point with the cargo van is to put yourself in a position that you can give yourself greater capacity of making more money, because you are in a position to take larger payloads, and people do pay for the larger payloads. Can you now, as I've stated many times, my goal is ultimately to be in a position where I'm making $400 to $500 a day. But until I'm at that point, what's keeping me going is that daily goal of at least $200 a day. It's just, again, that I'm using a cargo van to get things done. And so there's no shame, and there's no exact rhyme or reason how to go about doing things. It's just that what you're doing, again, you're looking at it from a business standpoint, putting yourself in a position to give yourself more options. And that's the whole point when you're in business for yourself. You always want to diversify your streams of income. You just want diversity, because when stagnation occurs, when stagnation and complacency occurs, that's when you can find yourself in trouble. So that's all I have for this particular segment of the Gig Geezer. If you like the content that's been provided in this segment or in any other segment, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I'm Inwood Lane, and as always, may your hustle, may your grind continue.